Should I include cycling outdoors in my weekly training schedule again in some way? Currently, I'm only riding when I'm traveling somewhere. There are a few downsides of cycling which kind of eliminated cycling out of The main upside of cycling outdoors is that one kind of maps territory. One sees new things. Often, if I then listen to something, it seems that the content attaches itself to the landscape I am in, which then seems to maybe consolidate the memory better. But now, the downsides of cycling. First of all, throughout the year, there is a somewhat instability attached to cycling. Running is less bound to weather conditions. If it snows, I can run. If it rains, I can run. If it's summer outside, I can run. But cycling requires a more stable environment, one could say. In winter, one might have icy surfaces. One then maybe needs to choose a different bike or a different tire. Also, one is at higher speeds. So if I fall when running, at least currently at 28 with my reaction time, and I'm not too ultradian low, I often at least used to catch myself, even though in recent years there probably has been an increase in falls when running in which I just fell flat to the floor, which seems slightly concerning. But when cycling and you're going down with 60 kilometers per hour a hill and then a tiny error happens, then the likelihood for now damage seems to be just a little bit higher. Now, the main downside of cycling, I think, is that I almost not train my upper body, which to a certain extent is also true for running. But at least when running, I kind of swing my arms. Now, one could also argue with cycling, one also kind of holds the handle a little bit and therefore transfers a little bit of power over the arms, kind of allowing to pedal more intense if one has a firm grip. The solution to this seems to be to assault bike. So having handles and to therefore train the upper body while training the lower body. It seems that the heart enlarges more due to exercise. Therefore, the stroke volume seems to increase. So cardiovascular hypertrophy, the more of one's body one uses during the exercise one is doing, at least according to Wikipedia. So while running is not necessarily the optimal solution and kind of lacks the big novelty factor cycling has, because there are only so many routes I can reasonably run repeatedly around my home without seeing the same landscape and streets again and again. It, at least for me, seems to be still the better option, because running seems to also allow me to train at a higher intensity compared to cycling, in which I often find it hard to get out of zone 2 or zone 3.